Hi, I'm Brittany McDaniel, and I'm here at Limitless Talks with Sierra Rainge. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to another episode of Limitless Talks TV with your girl, Sierra Rainge. Now, joining me today is Brittany McDaniel. She's an author, a wife, a mother, and a successful award-winning real estate professional. But beyond her accomplishments, Brittany is someone who has done the work of confronting her past and choosing healing in real time. In her book, Her Healing, she explores the dynamics of childhood sexual assault, infertility, managing love and attachments, and she is now ready to share her healing work with the world. Welcome to the show, Brittany, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Absolutely. A pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. So how are you? You look amazing.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm great. You know, I can't complain. I am living a life I never could have imagined, so yes. I'm good. Thank you.
I love that. Living a life I never could have imagined. Yeah. So in your book, you talk about that a lot. You talk about where you were in terms of just being a little bit emotionally fragmented, and then where you want it to be, where you desire it to be. So before we get into all the details, I want you to share more about what inspired you to write this book, and why do you feel Her Healing is necessary for the world right now?
What inspired me was that I felt that a part of my healing journey, this was the final phase. For so long, I've protected other people, and I've protected experiences that caused my pain and the people hiding behind that. And I can't be fully healed until I've released. Yeah. It was no longer about them or how they felt or how the world would see me. It was about me. And so that was my final phase to healing.
I love it. So Her Healing, it's like taking ownership.
Yeah.
And I know that in the book we talk about like the overarching theme of, you know, what happened to you may not have been your fault, but healing is your responsibility. So when you say Her Healing, it's like, this is your healing. This is your journey. This is your forgiveness. This is your joy.
Yep.
This is your peace. This is your life.
Yes.
And I love how you take the healing and you own it and you make it a gift to yourself.
Absolutely. And that's the thing with Her Healing and why it's so special is because it takes away everything and everyone else and it's yours. And everyone's journey may look different, but it's yours. So standing up and owning in it, it's beautiful. So
yes, I love it. I love it because healing is our portion. A lot of times we wait for apologies. And on the show, we talk a lot about healing and transformation and, you know, all the good things that help us to become more of ourselves, right? But the unique twist that you have is that you're taking this book and you're allowing it to be a funnel for helping your clients and your readers understand the power of ownership, not just in their healing, but real equity and home ownership.
Yes.
So talk to me more about your real estate journey and how you are integrating that with your message of healing. Absolutely.
So as people will learn a little bit more about me, I grew up not in the best parts of town, you know. It was Lakewood, Houston, Texas, and I did not have the accessibility to a lot of other things that a lot of children have today. You know, I didn't have the best school. I didn't have the best clothes. I didn't have the best anything. And it was so rough. Home ownership was never even a thought. Like, it wasn't a common thing. Yeah. When you met someone when I was growing up that owned a home, it was like, oh my God, they are like,
they
rich, you know, they're rich. It was not a thing. And as I continued to grow and see the other side, that there was more out there to life, I've always inspired to do that. Yeah, I had a hustle to me.
Come on.
So that hustle, I wanted more. And even when I was going fast and, like I said, running away from the pain and running from the trauma, I've always wanted more. And once I got a taste of that, oh my God, other people should have this. Yeah, I want other people to know that this is attainable. Yeah. And so I love working with first-time home buyers. I love when somebody messaged me on Facebook that I went to high school with and they're like, hey, I see what you're doing. I love what you're doing. How can I do that?
Yeah.
Can you help me? My fiance, I actually got a call last week from someone I went to high school and was like, I want that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, let's do it. There's so many resources that people don't know that's available that can help. And I want to be that vessel,
You are that vessel.
Thank you.
So let's talk more about what it takes, right? So for those of us who've had to navigate poverty and lower socioeconomic conditions, one of the things that I've noticed is that we have a threshold of what we can receive in terms of goodness, right? Because we haven't seen it. You cannot be what you cannot see, but once you are exposed to better, you see better, you do better, you learn better, and you become greater, right? So we think about people who haven't seen it, and now you're exposed to it, and now you're building it. What's some advice you would share with someone who is in this realm of possibility, but it still feels very scary?
I would say to them, all it takes is the first step. Some people, they procrastinate, they're not sure, they have their doubts. The hardest part is just going forward. Once you do that and you take that first step, everything else flows easy. I've had people who were scared to try and found out that, hey, their credit was not as bad as they thought, or hey, the solution to the problem was not as hard. And the hardest part is taking that first step. So I would say, just take it. Take that leap. Call me, but just take the first step.
I agree. Like taking inspired action, because we can have an idea, we can have a vision, but taking that inspired action is what makes that visualization turn into something that you can actually materialize.
Yes.
Like you've done with your book, Her Healing.
Yes.
So one of my favorite things to explore during developing your book was understanding different attachment styles when love feels scary as hell.
Yes.
And it makes you dysregulated. And it's just like learning to understand that, number one, you deserve love. And love is supposed to feel good. And you should be able to receive love in all of its glory. But sometimes those attachment triggers start to show up. So how did you know that working on yourself or healing your attachment style was necessary?
I've been married for 12 years now.
Awesome.
We've been together for 16 years. And it's a beautiful love story, and to the outside world may seem perfect, but behind the scenes, it took a lot of work. And for me, a basic argument, disagreement, anything, my anxiety would be so high that while we're disagreeing, all I hear is divorce. All I hear is, this isn't going to work. You're not worth it. You're not good enough. You don't meet the standard of a wife. So, it's going to be over. And I ran from hard conversations. I ran from having to hear the other side because it was all being blocked by the words that I heard. And once, we have 2 kids now, my youngest is 3, and I look at them and I ask myself, like, what example am I leaving for them? What kind of life do I want for my children? And it's definitely not the child that I experienced. And I want them to have, a 2-parent household. And in order to do that, how is my trauma affecting that beyond parenting, but just in my marriage? Am I putting in enough work? And if I'm not, why? What is it? What is making me so anxious? And it led back to abandonment.
And that lends my next question. When we think about, we say doing the work. In that particular case, the work was getting to the root of your issues, which was you had an abandonment wound. So when your wife is just saying, hey, let's have a healthy, hard conversation, your abandonment is in your voice, like you're going to be abandoned again, right? And it's learning how to silence those voices of fear so we can truly step in and embrace what God is truly doing in that season. And one thing about fear, it will trick you out your spot if you let it. How did you work through that?
A lot of prayer. A lot of prayer, because I trust the Lord. And I operate by faith. And when they say that when God has something for you, the devil starts trying to distract you and get you off task. And, you got to pass the test to know that you're ready for what God's about to do for you.
Come on.
And I was failing. I was failing, like, okay, and I think that took the stall.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not ready yet. You're not ready yet.
Yeah.
Brittany, there's greater. You're not ready yet. And
But what made you feel as though you were failing?
I felt like I was failing because love is not supposed to hurt. And when I am crying myself to sleep more than I should be, and when you start to feel alone when you're not, something's wrong.
Yes.
And it did take a reflection, like, well, is it, the easiest person is to blame is the other party. Like, well, what are they not doing to make me happy? What are they not doing?
Yeah.
And it was all me. What am I not doing to make me happy?
And it goes back to her healing and taking ownership.
Yes, of my pain and my trauma, and what does that look like when I do the work?
Yeah.
You can run from it, but if you run, it affects every phase from your friendships to parenting, relationships. It just affects your overall life. And I got to a point where it's not healthy.
Yeah.
It's not healthy for my girls, to have this around either. So.
Yeah. Again, her healing. So when we get back, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we get back, I want to talk more about triumph over those triggers, because we don't have to fold under those triggers. Like, we can stand in the paint, we can feel hard things, and we can do the necessary work. We'll be right back. Whew, I almost forgot about the commercial break.
Okay. How was that?
Amazing. I have to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you set about 2 minutes?
What'd you think?
All right. Okay. So when we come back, we're going to go into triumph over those triggers.
Okay.
And what it means to, like, feel really hard things, but then work through it. You said when you did the work, it was about prayer. But I want to talk about more of the scientific approach as well, of, like, just sitting with the discomfort and canceling those voices, like, learning to affirm ourselves. So when our triggers are saying, you ain't never going to be nothing, you ain't lovable, this person's going to break your heart, they're going to leave you, you're not good enough. What's the counter to that? Because we don't receive those words, we hear them, and we get to a point where we're just like, you know what? I kind of don't want to let fear govern my life anymore. I kind of want to just lean into something else. What does that look like?
Okay.
And then we'll talk about what's next. So you can mention that you're going to be having a book signing. Just say this May.
Okay.
We're doing a book signing here in Miami. Barnes & Nobles. We're partnering with Miami. I'll say that part.
Okay.
And you can say all the real estate agents in the Central Florida area, pull up on us this May at Barnes & Nobles. We're super excited to activate there. Then we'll talk about, the infertility.
Okay.
The infertility journey. And then, is there anything else you want to talk about?
I think that's pretty much cover it, because it's in the book, right? Like, we kind of touched on the highlights, and for them to know more, we want them to purchase the book. We don't want to just give it all to them.
Yeah, not giving it all out.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. And we are back with my guest, Brittany McDaniel. We've talked her book, Her Healing. We've talked triggers, love, attachment styles, and taking ownership of your own healing journey. Now we want to talk briefly about what it means to triumph over triggers. And I do think that means we learn to give ourselves the opportunity to lean into a different voice. And so we hear these voices in our heads. Our fears are talking so loudly to us. You're not enough. This isn't going to work. You're going to be left again. You're not worthy of love. And we learn to hear those voices. And I know for me, I just decided, like, you know what? I kind of don't like how I feel when I lend my ear to this voice. I kind of don't like how I feel when I relent myself to fear. And so I want to choose another programming for myself. Were you able to do something very similar in your journey?
I was, actually. So it did get to the point to where I just had to have a real conversation with myself. You've tried your way.
Yeah.
You've tried, and the voices have been speaking and nothing's changing. So why don't you try something that makes you uncomfortable and see if something changes?
Ooh, that's good.
And
because nothing changes if nothing changes.
Right.
So what was the work that you did that made you uncomfortable?
The work that I did was I sat down and I took criticism. So I've always, like I said, I've run from tough conversations and I run from anything that sounds like I'm not it. So it took some sitting down and just being open to receive that type of feedback about myself. You know what, your crap kind of does stink, and You are not giving your all. You're not giving as much, and you are not dealing with your childhood trauma. Like verbatim, I was told that, and I had to think about it and be open and not run. And was like, you know what, I'm not.
Yeah.
And I just cried. And that's when I knew that, okay, I'm feeling something. Something is happening. And because I will tell you, the first step to healing is acceptance. I had to accept that had trauma.
Yeah.
It did affect me.
Yeah.
It did alter the course of my life and my journey. And once I took that acceptance, I was ready for everything to change.
And change it did.
Yes.
And look at you now.
Yes.
Wife, mother,
Yes.
award-winning real estate agent,
Yes.
best-selling author.
Thank you.
Because the
Thank
work
you.
works.
It works.
Yeah.
When you put in the work, it works. So it's going to take being uncomfortable to get comfortable.
Oh, that's
and
so good.
and I'm happy I did.
Yeah.
And I would tell anybody, if you're going through something, no matter what it is, do something uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
First step is acceptance. Hey, and that's with friends. This did hurt me. This did make me feel some kind of way.
Yeah.
Now, what can we do about it?
Yeah. So there's the caveat to that, right? Because it's learning to accept the things that we cannot change when we think about serenity. But then there's also looking at something and saying, you know what, I'm not going to accept this answer and I'm going to keep on going until something changes, right? So one allows us to lend ourselves to big belief, like, you know what, this isn't working, but I'm going to find a way to make it work. And I believe you did that when you talk about your fertility journey.
Yes.
In your marriage. So at first, I know you guys went through a bunch of different challenges and tried a few different options, and then it finally worked.
Yes. So my fertility journey, I'll start a little tidbit for everybody, a little bonus. I was told at 15 years old that my chances of conceiving were slim to none. And a person who is dealing with abandonment issues, my number one goal was to have a child because I felt that that would be the only person or way in the world I could ever have unconditional love. So it was a mission to become a mother.
Yeah.
To feel that type of unwavering love, it was my goal. So when I was told that, I do what I do best, I run. I hid from it. And I was more open to a same-sex relationship, especially back then, because I felt that, well, it's not easy. And, maybe, she won't want one. So I don't have to face it. Running from that pain, I won't have to face the disappointment of not being able to give a husband a child if he wants one. And like it always do, it caught up with me. The urge still never went away. I want to be a mother. I want to be better than give my child a better experience than what I had.
Yeah.
Because as you know, like my mom left. And so I wanted better.
That was the core of your abandonment.
That was the core. Yeah. And so we decided that I wasn't letting it go. And so we went on a mission and we tried, like you said, a couple of different things. Nothing was working. And all that started to do was start back validating all the things that I held. I'm not good enough. I am worthless. Like you can't even do the thing that women are put on this earth to do. And I can't even do that. So it just unleashed a lot of trauma that I was still working through over the years. And when I got pregnant with my oldest, the feeling, the sensation, it's indescribable.
Yeah.
So, but it took, again, facing some hard music. So if you're not willing to face and have the hard conversations, then it's not going to work.
Yeah. What I love so much about your story is that it represents the idea that breakthrough happens, but first something must break. We have to break our old patterns. We have to break our old mindset. We have to confront our old fears. We have to stand in the paint with hard conversations. We have to learn to stop running. And the hardest part, at least for me, was vulnerability. Can I open myself up and become all undone and allow someone to see me fully? Not all dressed up, not the highlight reel, but me in my most vulnerable state, because that is a level of intimacy that I don't always feel comfortable in. But learning to do that, it breaks through this whole new character. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. So I can be raw and authentic and undone, and
You're
I'm
still gonna love me?
and you're still gonna
And
love
you're still
me,
gonna love me?
and you're
And
still
yes.
gonna be here, and you're still gonna be kind to me.
Yes.
You know, and I think our nervous systems, it requires that. When we think
Yeah.
about her healing and taking ownership of that healing, it's saying, you know what? And I love how you say this, Brittany. I no longer wanted to live that life. Something had to change because I desired to live a life where I was able to feel better.
Yes.
And we deserve that.
We do. We deserve it. And some people, especially young people, because you have to really go through to learn it. So there's some young people really stuck right now
Yeah.
and don't know that they do.
Yeah.
And it was
that
my
was you at one
inspiration.
point.
That was me.
Yeah.
And that's again my inspiration for her healing is it should just touch so many and help so many and inspire even older people, because even though I have the abandonment issue, with my mom, we have done a lot of work
Yeah.
and our relationship it has come so far. But
Love that.
I had to also think about how many older women made their kids go through a cycle of trauma because they never dealt with theirs.
So they're passing it down.
They're passing it down, and that's what I did not want for my
Right.
kids. I had to break the cycle.
Right.
It stops with me.
Absolutely.
I never wanted to be something they needed to heal from.
Yes.
So,
I love that so much.
Yeah.
So for the young girl who's listening, maybe even older women, because that older woman who's listening who never healed her inner child.
Yep.
And she's 35, 45, 55, 65, but still carrying wounds when she was 5 and 6 years old, right? What is your message to that woman and that young girl who's listening to us today, and they have big dreams and big goals, but they don't feel good enough? They don't feel quite prepared. They don't believe that they can. They've never had an example of what possibility is, but there's something inside of them that's calling them to greater, but their trauma keeps getting in the way. What would you say to her?
I would like to say to take a look at me. Take a look at me. I am a walking testimony of what healing looks like.
Yeah.
When I say that I am in rooms that I could only dream about, you can too.
Yeah.
The first step is taking back the piece that belongs to you, and that's your healing.
Yeah.
It's not for them. It's not for whoever caused your pain. It's only for you because there's better.
Yeah.
But it starts with feeling it,
Yeah.
and then you take that first step.
I love it. First step to feeling better is healing and taking ownership of your healing. So this has been one great conversation. Her healing will be out May 2026. And we want to invite you guys to meet us in Miami at Barnes & Noble's, where we're going to be doing an amazing activation. Brittany will be there. Our girls are going to be there. We're going to have a great time.
Yes.
You guys can find Her Healing on Amazon, Barnes & Noble's, and then check Brittany out. Go ahead and share your socials with them.
Yes, you can check me out on Instagram. I am Brittany McDaniel, and Facebook, Brittany McDaniel.
All right. We'll see you soon. Be sure to catch Her Healing. Stay tuned.